We are here. We are here. Welcome back to the Coach's Huddle. It's your boy, the coach where the field meets family. And don't look now, but we have another regularly scheduled installment of Cover 2 with my boy, Jess. So let's get it out the way first. How's my boy doing? How you doing, Jess?
I'm doing good, coach. Love Cover 2 Mondays. It's the day after. Like I say, man, we get to analyze it, think about it, sit on it. Maybe the sky's not falling as much as we thought last night. We'll talk about it, though.
Definitely, man. And like for just a little bit of precursor, I'm going in blind. We both are. We have not spoken. I have not watched any of Jesse's post game. I don't know any of his thoughts about the game. I have my own thoughts. But before we get into it, let's just not bury the lead. First things first, the Niners fall to 6-4. And that would be, what is this, 3-1 in the division now. With our first division loss. Our first division loss of the season, losing to the Rams 42-26. And let's be honest, there were patches of this game where it looked like we were going to get boat raced. I was calling for drinks in the first quarter. I started telling everybody, I'm not doing this sober, bro. What I did see is
I tweeted out the Rocky throw in the towel.
Give it up, Rock. Come on, Rock.
Nothing. I'm like, throw in the towel. Just quit already.
Oh my God. You don't got the stuff, Rock. You can't even see it coming from your blind side anymore. I know exactly what you mean. And honestly, it was kind of like sinking in a boat and you didn't know which leak to plug, honestly. It was more than one thing. It wasn't just the defense. The offense started slow. Coaches weren't calling the right plays. We were not necessarily tackling well. I mean, we were getting outskilled in the beginning of the game. Go ahead, Jess.
No, you're absolutely right. It started out as disastrous as it could. They get the ball first. They go score a touchdown. It started out just like last week. Remember? Giants get the ball. They go score right away. It's like, oh, gosh, here we go. We can't stop the run. They're going to overpower us. And then the 49ers get the ball. Drive killed Juwan Jennings. Congratulations. He's good at that lately. Then the Rams get the ball again. Go score. 49ers are driving. Juwan Jennings kills another drive with a fumble. Rams go score again. It's 21-0. And that was basically it. Like, that was the game. I know that it got a little closer, right after halftime. It's 21-14. We got some hope. But ultimately, they went ahead and outdid what they did in the first half. They could have put 50 on the 49ers. Easily could have put 50 on the 49ers. And it wasn't good. I mean, this was the most dominant game against the 49ers all season long. The one thing that we've been proud of, Coach, is how in games the 49ers have been, how they've stuck around even when they don't deserve to.
Yeah.
They got boat race in this game for the most part, but oddly enough, the offense was hanging. The offense was doing their job. If Juwan Jennings doesn't kill two drives, who knows how it ends up, and we might be in this shootout. So, not all is lost by any means. The Rams are clearly a better team, and they proved it yesterday.
I will say a couple of things that stuck out to me. One is we've been on the other side of this, right? We've been the juggernaut before, so we know what it feels like. And let's be honest, we've seen us fumble upon 40 points when we played teams, right? Where it's not even necessarily is that we were clicking on all cylinders, and the Rams weren't. There were a lot of drives that got stalled just because of bad throws and drops, to be quite honest with you. Like, almost just the luck of the draw helped us out. Now, there were some things that I want to talk about in the game that kind of just were throwing me off. The officiating, bro. There were so many DPIs on the Rams. They got there faster. They got there early so many times. I got to be honest. I am never going to be in a position where I'm defending Juwan Jennings fumbling balls or not being, to the level of player that he says he wants to get paid at. I get all of that. But in the context of the game, bro, he was not wrong. They were getting there so early, bro. The Rams, the defense is overrated to me, to be honest with you. It is very overrated. The offensive line did relatively well, especially in pass protection. Matt Jones stayed clean for the most part. Didn't have any sacks. I mean, did he have any sacks in this game?
Mac Jones, I don't think so. No, but see, this is where a quarterback can make an offensive line look better or make it look worse.
Mm-hmm.
And Mac Jones makes this offensive line look better. I mean, say what you want, but Mac Jones makes this offensive line look a lot better than probably what it is. And I think Brock Purdy at times makes it look worse than what it is. And it's funny because a lot of people associate the scrambling ability of Brock Purdy or his short area quickness with, oh, that means he's going to buy time. If you have a statue like Mac Jones in the pocket, you're screwed. It's like, well, not really. If you get the ball out on time, then it really doesn't matter. And that's what Mac Jones does. He genuinely makes this offensive line look better than what it is.
That was huge. I mean, one thing that I will tell you is that's a point that I've raised many times, particularly on the Neutral Zone show with Thunder Boy, is that Brock Purdy's athleticism isn't always a plus. It really isn't. And what you have to realize is that one thing about it is that if Brock Purdy has to stand in the pocket and deal the ball under this offensive line and he can't run, that's a whole different ball game. That's a whole different quarterback that we're dealing with, right? It literally is a weapon and a survival instinct of his game. You just got to call it what it is. Another thing that kind of just we have to talk about is the offensive line in the run game. They struggled. Ben Barch and Spencer Burford were switching in and out at left guard. I can say that Ben Barch isn't necessarily all the way back. Jake Brindle again struggling.
What is all the way back for Barch? We've seen like a game and a half out of this guy.
I'm being nice. I'm being nice.
All the way back for
I'm being nice. I'm being nice.
I'm being nice. What are we expecting here? Okay, I just want to make sure we're setting the tone.
Saying, but when you see it, you do see like he's moving gingerly, bro. He's not okay. He's not moving with a healthy stride, shall I say.
All right, fair enough. All right. You got to hitch it as giddy up. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, right. We're not talking about the Pro Bowl ways of Ben Barch. So
okay. All right.
A couple of things that also threw me off. We're just talking about overall, the reason why I want to get like particular with certain players rather than like as a whole, as a team. There were instances during the game with the Rams were accelerating, like putting their foot to the pedal. They shot themselves in the foot on the last drive before the half because they got greedy. Sean McVay said so. There was so much underneath that they could have just kept taking from us at all times. When they wanted to, they went in 13 all the time, but to take advantage of the fact that we didn't have edges. Michael Williams was missed. I say what you want. Dee's put this in the chat. Say what you want. We could not hold an edge to save our lives yesterday at all. Bryce Huff, I don't understand what's going on with Bryce Huff. There's a lot of miscommunication with switching off when they were doing a lot of, they were switching strengths with their tight ends, which was actually very clever. And what they were doing is resetting the edge pre-snap by sending guys in motion. There was a lack of communication with Tatum Bethune to edges, whether it had been Bryce Huff on the edge at the time or Keon White or Cleveland Farrell. The defense just kind of got gamed up in a sense of the difference when you have a good football team is that you could take a team into deep water where we're going to put you in elements that you haven't been coached on, and you're just going to have to know football in order for you to get this done. You're going to have to adjust on the fly. This is a game, quite frankly, that I believe would have been a completely different if one player played yesterday, and that's Fred Warner. If Fred Warner played yesterday, that's without Michael, that's without Nick Bosa. This was a frustrating game to watch defensively because they were just out. They were outflanking us. They were out scheming us. They were putting on tempo when they wanted to. It was frustrating to watch, right? At points, you're just like, we don't have the guys to put up with this type of precision, with this type of game plan, and we don't have the men. So at one point, it just felt kind of stupid to be holding them to a standard that's necessarily unrealistic. But what I will say, there's some players they ain't get away with. Oh, and Alfred Collins was missed as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Alfred Collins was missed as well. But there's a couple of people that think they got away with it, but they ain't get away with it, Jess. Diamador Lenore. He had a horrible game yesterday. First touchdown getting bodied by the tight end to give up a touchdown. The third touchdown by Parkinson in the back corner was his man. He's going palms up, looking around like, whose man was that? Like, yo, Diamador Lenore, bro, for you to be the tip of the spear as far as like being our like ex guy, our number one corner, I need more, bro. I need more from Diamador Lenore. Quite frankly, and he's one of those guys
Talked
that should be elevating us.
lot of ish this offseason. And after that last game, who was the one that was talking in the whole locker room? It was Demo that was talking about, oh, Kyron Williams needs to shut his mouth and he got what he deserved and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, all right,
son.
well, cool, man. Yep.
Come on, man. Like, I'm just, and that's what really frustrates you when you see the play from him. Not the money withstanding. The money notwithstanding, right? Like, we get that. But, my man, you do a lot of chirping, bro. You do a lot of chirping. And it's hard to forget that shit when you're not doing what you're not performing on the field, bro. So Diamador Lenore was somebody who I'm kind of going in with a scalpel. I'm not blasting the whole team, right? What are you going to do about Luke Gifford? Come on, man. Are we really going to have a segment about Luke Gifford? You know what I mean? Like, come on. You got to let that ride, bro. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Your baby mama is your baby mama.
Do, except for Luke Gifford playing means that Martin, dare I say, might have been a waste of a pick. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been. It definitely was a reach. We already know that. Like maybe a 3-round reach. But I'm gonna tell you, man, at least two. You also saw, no shade, but this is just the truth. You also saw why CJ West has not been playing. He doesn't necessarily have a motor. He gets tired very quickly. Explosive player. Kind of plays himself out of his gap to gain leverage because I don't think he necessarily is comfortable with his size. So he plays with a lot of pop and a lot of aggression a lot of time. And what happens is that smart offensive linemen tend to take him where he wants to go. Also, too, he has a little bit of what's my man who was Poe? What was my man that played offensive line for us?
Was it Dontari Poe?
Poe, little
yeah, I know
he was like a small
he was
guard.
Super small. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And
I'm trying to remember his first name though, but yeah.
Yeah, I forgot his first name, but he gives me
Edgar Allen. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, Edgar. He gives me a little bit of those of like
Jason Poe. Jason Poe. That's what it was. Yeah.
He gives me a little bit of Napoleon syndrome where he, no matter what he does, it's always in a small package. So it's almost like the Tasmanian devil. He brings a fight, but it's all in one compact situation. And at the end of the day, when you're 6'4", 330 pounds, and you're moving him out of the way, you're going to move him. I don't care how much you want to fight. So one thing that you do see is that I'm starting to see why it's been a little bit delayed, if you will, on why he hasn't been on the field as much. He's got to get stronger, to be real with you. He can. He's got the body for it. One of the biggest things also, too, is we've got to stop I understand that giving CMC the ball is our offense. It's a part of our offense. But if you're looking at our offense in terms of a conversation, you have to wait to bring in CMC when he's relevant to the topic. Okay? You can't just cut people off and barge him in. And the last thing I'm starting to see, if we're keeping this conversation narrative with the offense, is now CMC is Mr. Me Too. You ever been in a conversation with somebody, Jesse, and you're like, yo, I just got this brand new car and it's a V8. It does this. And then out of nowhere, somebody comes, me too. I just got a brand new car about a year ago and it's a V8 too. And it's just like, it doesn't hit the same when you're always.
Wasn't that a song by Clips, by the way?
Mr. Me Too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yo. And the problem is that there was a switch lead play where there were split backs with Brian Robinson and Kyle Juszczyk in the backfield. And they had a switch lead where Kyle Juszczyk would go in an orbit or an underneath block, and he would lead Brian Robinson out to the edge. And it was working. They ran that play earlier in their first couple of drives. Brian Robinson got about like 4 to 5 yards on it. They ran it to the other side when they ran Brian Robinson for 3 plays in a row that actually got us down to our, I think, our second touchdown of the game. And it was perfect because of the type of back that was running it. All right. It's a little bit more powerful because Brian Robinson is more of a north-south guy. You're giving him a lot of real estate to get up to a speed where he can really utilize the gaps that he needs to get to. And then out of nowhere, here comes CMC running the switch lead, outside zone, getting blown up in the backfield. It's like, what are we doing, man? Like, does he have to be involved in everything? Is there any type of intelligence to using him? Is there a moment in the game where you want to make sure you use him most? Are there times where you want to use him as a decoy with Brian Robinson on the field? Like, the biggest thing to me about CMC, as far as the common denominator when it comes in terms of his usage, Jesse, is there's no pattern. There's no intelligence. If you're going to use him as much as you do, how come none of us can know what CMC's top 5 plays are off the top of our head, right? It's all over the place, whether it's him going off of the China route and shotgun, CMC's running on his choice routes, or we got him running on outside zone, or it may be a screen. It's however you feel like using him for that day. And what happens is that it throws off the flow for other people to get cooking. At one point during the first half, Jesse, there were 4 people that touched the ball for the Niners offensively. We were at 3 and 3 drives, right? We had 6 drives apiece. The Niners had 4 people that had touched the ball. Brian Robinson Jr., George Kittle, Jawan Jennings, and CMC, right? 4. That's it. At the time, you go and look at the Rams. The Rams had 9 people that at least had 2 targets or touched the ball or ran or had carries, right? It's spread out. It's balanced, right? It allows you to have a lot of different weapons. So for me, I'm starting to see like you can't use CMC for the sake of just using them, and it's hurting other people that you want to get involved. So Ricky Pearsall is on his way back. I love that George Kittle is getting involved. I think that George is getting healthier about the game. He looked much better in this game than he did last week, didn't he? Good, yep. And hey, man, I'm not willing to kill him on this one. I kind of feel like, I hate to put it, but this is a game where we just kind of got put in our place.
Yeah, I think that it was just a reality check, ultimately, is what happened. We got a little too big for our britches. We stepped up to Dad, and Dad reminded us that he's a man and we're not. Like, that's just basically what happened. You know what I mean? Right. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like the 49ers are out of the playoff race, but things got a lot harder. Ultimately, the 49ers are not going to win the division. Like, any grand thought of that happening is over. The 49ers are now 10 weeks in. They're 2 games behind in the loss column to Seattle and the Rams. No matter what, those teams play each other next week. So even if the 49ers beat the Cardinals, they're still behind at least one of those teams for sure, like one of those teams 2 games in the loss column. If they lose to the Cardinals, then they're behind them 3 games. So yeah, they're not winning the division. Also, the 49ers are now eighth place in the NFC, which means there is no guarantee. That game against Chicago is going to be so crucial later on this year.
Mm.
If they lose to Chicago, they likely are not making the playoffs. If they beat Chicago, they will. Now, luckily, if you look at Chicago's schedule, it's extremely tough down the stretch. 49ers have a very easy schedule. But if the Bears beat the 49ers, that very well could be the difference in making the playoffs or not. So that game's going to be super, super big. We're going to have to make sure that we circle that one pretty early on. And, it's just the ceiling for this team was always making the playoffs and then probably getting bounced in the first round. And I think that more than ever, that seems to be obvious. I don't see them winning a game. What do you think about George Kittle's comments? Because George Kittle talked about like, oh, I do think that this is a team that can go far and the offense can carry us and all these things. And all I could think of was the Cincinnati Bengals. He was basically talking about the 49ers as if when everybody's back, they can put up a lot of points. But we've seen this exact thing in the AFC. It's called Cincinnati. It's happened for 2 years in a row, and they don't win enough games to even make the playoffs because their defense gives up too many points. The offense can play as good as it wants, but you have to make stops. And right now, because you cannot run the ball with consistency, you're not controlling the clock. Your defense, their back is already against the wall because of all the injuries that they have. And now you can't control time of possession game in and game out, which is something that you're used to doing. It's going to be hard to stop some of these teams. And anytime they play a real veteran quarterback, they're going to struggle mightily on defense. They just are.
Yeah. What was the way your analogy was perfect on what it felt like playing the Rams. It felt like you were playing just like your dad or your older brother, and you really thought that you were in the game, and then they just back you down on the rim, and they just beat you with fundamentals because they're stronger, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's how I felt about watching this game. I do still think that we're in play, though. I tend to agree with George because at least he's putting out the right message, which is one of the topics that we have today is this team needs to be led by the offense. It's not even practical to lean on the defense anymore, right? Like, I understand that we can have a conversation about what they need to fix, and they don't have an edge, and we need to get a pass rush, and Diameter Lenore, I get it, but all of that comes to one sum, which is they're not good enough. They don't have enough talent. They don't have enough depth. All right. And you're not in the NFL if you can't pick apart a bad defense schematically. You're right. You're not worth your salt. So that's what they did. They picked us apart. And they went against the guys that we hope offenses can't exploit that. And that's really going to be kind of like what we live and die on is for the rest of the season. Teams that can get to our deficiencies and teams that can't. It's going to be matchup football, especially now near the end of the season. However, the offense, man, this is supposed to be like a good offense, the Rams. They're supposed to be like, class personified, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Cam Kitchens. Like, they're supposed to be dogs. I was underwhelmed. I want to know your thoughts, but I was underwhelmed by this defense. I wasn't that impressed. I believe that we moved the ball up and down the field on them. I know that they're a conscientious defense, right? They're very skilled. All of the turnovers that they're trying to generate, understanding that we do a lot of yak, being able to punch the ball out. I get that. But they weren't getting home. Mac was getting the ball out. And I feel like, again, we've seen Mac respond to defenses that, quote unquote, have a good pass rush. And we've seen him perform. Now, as we get healthier, Ricky Pearsall is on his way back. I don't know what's going on with BA. Well, I don't know. But Jordan Watkins, definitely seeing what we could do with the run game. I'm a sucker for good football, man. If it's there to be had, I'm always going to lean towards it, even if there's no reason for me to believe that it's going to happen. But there are ways there for us to be viable, more than viable. This is supposed to be a defense that's playoff bound. Dude, we did whatever we want. Mac Jones, dude, what were Mac's numbers yesterday? He threw for like 80%.
Mac Jones shredded them both games. Like both
Come
games.
on.
If you If you add both of his games together, I mean, what did he? He's probably throwing for 700 yards in 2 games against that team.
Bro.
Absolutely insane.
33
Absolutely
for 39,
insane.
319, 3 touchdowns and a pick, bro. Like, come on, son. So for me, I understand that and then who we got? We got Arizona. I like Mac. Like, I hate to do this, but as now that I'm looking at games, I'm looking at games as Mac Jones versus
661 yards in 2 games, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception against the Rams.
Yeah. Like, come on, bro. Like, if I'm looking at these teams like, all right, Mac Jones versus Arizona's defense, Mac Jones versus Carolina, Mac Jones versus Cleveland, Mac Jones versus Tennessee, Indy, Chicago, and Seattle. That's how I'm looking at it. And honestly, I believe that if we hold up on offense and actually lead with the offense, you know, I like that George put that out there because I feel like he's trying to expose it. Like, yo, we can't lean on these dudes on defense. I believe that we could do something, bro. I'm still there with this. I still my prediction is 10-7. Do you have us going? What do you have us going? Has it changed?
Yeah, I mean, I had him 10-7 to start the season. I think when I ran through the schedule with Sunil, I ended up having him 9-8. This was right before the Falcons game. So far, they've lost the games that I said that they would. So before the Falcons game, I had him beating the Falcons. I had him losing to the who did they play after that? The Texans, the Rams. So they've every game that I've said thus far that they would win or lose, they have. So they're trending towards that 9-8. But I think 10-7 is still very possible. 9-8, 10-7 seems about right. Yeah.
All right, and this would take a segue us into our next topic, which is should Mac finish the season? We lost. We played about as good as the team that we're going to see for the rest of the year. We got Seattle and Indy.
Seattle, Indy, Chicago, Cardinals, Browns, Titans, Panthers. I think is Panthers schedule.
Yeah. So Brock has been gone for so long that there's going to be at least two weeks of rust. Right? I can't expect Brock to come back and just be back in a game. If we're in, let's say we win and we split the division and we beat Arizona, and what if that'll put us at 4-1 in the division? Are we ready to roll Brock out for the last game of the season against Seattle if this game really counts? Basically, what I'm asking you is that is the conversation now fitting to say, should Brock even come back at all?
Yeah, I think it's
don't do this. I don't know. First of all, don't do this because I know
lunacy at this point.
I know, bro. First of all, hold on. Let me just preface this. Don't fuck up my topic, bro. Because because of what you already believe, bro. Don't just indulge the topic.
I'm going to give you both. No. I'm going to give you both.
Because I know what you're about to do.
I'm going to give you my opinion, but I'm also going to spin it the other. Don't worry. I got you. I got you.
I don't poo-poo topics. Because I know how you feel about this. All right,
you know that. You know I don't poo-poo.
All right, go ahead. Don't poo-poo.
Don't poo-poo. I'm not going to
All right, don't do it.
All right, listen. To me, it's lunacy if you bring Brock back at this point, especially after that game that Mac just played. The problem is that if you were going to bring Brock back, the point was to do it before the Giants because we knew that Mac was going to look good in that game. They were going to win, and they did. Now you played the Rams for a second time, which is arguably the toughest team you play all year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looked not only good against them twice, he's looked phenomenal against them twice. So it's really hard to bring Brock back now. And is this offense going to be better? I mean, you add Ricky and Ayuk to this offense with Mac, why wouldn't it continue to climb? But the flip side of that is if you are going to bring Brock back, you've made it through all the tough teams at this point for at least the next 3 or 4 games.
All right.
So now is the time that you can bring him back, add in Ricky Pearsall, make him look really, really good for about a 3-4 week stretch with a bye week in between. You're playing a terrible, terrible Panthers defense. You're playing a terrible Titans defense. The Cardinals defense is The Browns defense is So you've got a 4-game stretch here with a bye week included that is going to make him look as good as he can, especially if you're adding weapons to that. And then you've got that final 3-game stretch where he gets to go into it. He's got some confidence and he's going to look good. But if you don't bring him back now, and Mac goes out and beats the Cardinals, it's just like you cannot do it at that point. You absolutely cannot do it. Now, I was talking to David in the post game. He doesn't think Brock's coming back at all. He just doesn't think it's going to happen. He thinks it's 100% a soft benching. We're not going to see Brock unless Mac just falters and falls on his face. And they're going to keep playing this game week in and week out. But ultimately, it's Mac's team. I don't know if I agree with that, but it is hard to say that Brock's going to be back because I've thought it for 3 weeks he would be back. So what am I going to say for a 4th week? He's coming back and then he doesn't. Then what?
Did we not have this conversation a couple of weeks ago where I told you he's not coming back?
Yeah, you did say it. I didn't believe
he
it
ain't
then,
coming back, bro.
It just seems,
he is not coming back. And the number one, sometimes when you look at these situations, especially like after, let's say, it's the end of the season, right? And season's over. You'll be able to go back and be like, God, if I would have saw that would have been the indicator that he's not coming back. You know why he's not coming back? It's the same reason why Jimmy didn't come back and why Trey didn't come back. The locker room. The locker room has bought in to Mac Jones. The same way they bought into Mac, bro. They are fighting with Mac. Those guys know that they have a fighting chance with Mac. They don't have the depth, the time, the health to usher in a Brock Purdy smoothly. That does not exist on this team, right? You can't do that on this team where you're so worried about him getting injured without him being 100% ready to play. Why do you think they're so adamant on him being 100% back, ready to play? I know a lot of it is because he's the franchise guy and he's got $52 million and all of that. But the truth hides in plain sight as well, Jess. Man, because they know his ass is there's a propensity for him to get hurt on this team. They see what's going on with Mac. It's like, no, there's no way we're putting you back out there unless you can look us dead in the face and say, I'm ready to go through this fire. Because you're going to take some lumps playing with this team, the same way you did last year. So I think that the buy-in of the locker room around Mac Jones, they're in a foxhole right now. They know what they are. They're trying to make the best out of what they got. And switching out your quarterback in the vein of politics right now, especially when a lot of those players have been a part of that politics, so that's very noticeable and identifiable by them. They can notice when things are being done in the locker room. They can lose the locker room. You already
listen, you say that, but Kittle came out and put it on wax that he thinks Brock Purdy's some incredible quarterback. Mac's okay, but he's thrown shade at Mac twice now, by the way. This is the second time he's done this. Once before Mac was on the team, where he was asked a question last year, I think, about Mac Jones. I think he was asked about Mac Jones in particular and how he would do in this offense or something like that. And he's like, oh, don't disrespect Brock like that. Like, it was disrespectful to say that. Then after a game where Mac Jones goes out there and plays as gutty as he can, as well as he can, hooks you up, by the way, George Kittle. You had a phenomenal game. He goes out and says, yeah, Mac's all right, but he's not our $53 million quarterback. We paid Brock for a reason. He's the guy. And it's like, all right, Kittle, man. I can't with this guy.
Here we go. Same.
And I want to say this real quick before you go. For those that take Kittle's word as gospel, it's like, see, Kittle can evaluate talent. He thinks Brock's the guy. This is the same player.
I was going to say this.
Brock Purdy
played
a phenomenal game against Seattle, wore a Jimmy G shirt, went on national TV, sat next to Brock Purdy, held up the shirt, and went goo goo gaga over Jimmy Garoppolo and talking about it's his team and all these other things. So he is not the GM. He can't evaluate talent. He shouldn't be speaking like this about it. And all he's done is put Mac Jones in a bad situation if he continues to start. It's crazy to me.
Bro, I was just about to bring that up, son. Like, this is par for the course. We've seen this before, bro. He did it against Seattle, like you said, and wore the. It was so cringe. It was like, bro, first of all, what are you doing? Why are you angling? Stop trying to throw your hand in the middle of the process to try to shift any type of waters. Like, stop, bro. Dude, all I'm saying is that the biggest thing right now is that I think that George thinks that he has a pulse on not only the locker room, but the organization. And I also think that he speaks through the media on what he believes and how he thinks things are going. I would advise against it, but he does it anyway. But I do see that the organization is they're beholden to Brock. This is the thing. One thing about them is that they don't like to look wrong, and they don't like to admit that they're wrong. I mean, we've seen them sweep a whole third overall pick under the rug and act like it wasn't a big deal. So they're not going to sit back and be like 100% contrite. The biggest thing that they need to get away from is the fact that they shouldn't have signed this kid as soon as they did. Right. And that's the debate or the conversation that they want to get as far away from as possible. And if that means that we have to let Mac Jones play for the rest of the season and then gaslight the fans and act like Brock Purdy being back is exactly what this team needs. You just wait, gear up for 2026. That's what they're going to do. They're going to put somebody with a pressing curl and on a mic and start talking about Brock Purdy and bringing up what we're going to do to be ready to go for the season. We're going to start hearing about it on NFL Network. And you know what the organization does when they start moving the media machine. So I think that the biggest thing is getting us to get away from this conversation, which is something that we will never unsee, which is the year Brock Purdy got signed, he got hurt, and a backup outperformed him without him even playing. That's what's happening right now. And I think that Mac Jones, for right now, the locker room is too fragile to take all of this back and forth switching like they did. We don't have enough depth to do that. Brock can fuck around and get hurt playing on this team.
Yeah, and if he gets hurt again or doesn't play well, it looks bad. Here's the reality. And I think the team sees it, but you see it in the fan base. There's a segment of this fan base that is just so pro Brock Purdy, right? They are so pro Brock. And I think a big reason is because of us, to be frank. We've been so like, hey, you shouldn't pay this guy. Are you sure you should pay this guy? And because of all of that, there's a segment that really wants us to be wrong about this. And so they're going to hang on, clawing, fighting tooth and nail to Brock Purdy being this amazing football player that he's just simply not. Mm-hmm. But even those people, you can tell they are terrified of the possibilities. Like the last couple weeks, the way they've justified him, it's completely normal that he's practicing and not playing. Guys, that's normal. Well, what if he was the backup quarterback? Well, that's normal too. I mean, you got to ease him in. He's got to get used to wearing shoulder pads again and sit on the sideline. Like, what are we talking about? And then it's like, well, I mean, he's your franchise guy. You got to make sure that he's got Ricky Pearsall, and maybe you want to bring him back during the soft part of the schedule. If he's that dude, you don't worry this much. You guys are all trying to protect him like this is Little Giants. You're wrapping the foam bedding around him and throwing him out there to make sure that he's protected and looks as good as possible. And you know why you're doing that? Because you're scared that you're wrong. You're scared. You're terrified of it because there's a possibility that he might go out there and look really bad if he had played against a good stretch of defenses without all of his weapons. Because you know why? It happened last year. So why couldn't it happen this year? That's all. That's what it is. And I think the team's terrified too.
Yeah, it's facts. It is what it is. They're trying to protect this. This is a soft benching, bro. I honestly believe that Mac is going to play the rest of the season. It's really not that big of a deal. And also, they're going to move Mac for parts. They're to hang on to Mac Jones is to completely fall on their faces for what they did. We got Brock. We got him. I don't think that we're going to keep him for a long. I don't think that we're going to keep Mac. We're going to move off from him. So, hey, you see how we're even using the offense? You see what we're doing with CMC to justify that money that Kyle stood on the table to get him. You see how we're using CMC. So it's the same thing. Brock is in that same swim lane. He's right there. So hey, let's get to some super chats real quick, and then we can go ahead and knock out Sleeper.
Okay. Cool.
So we got Rylan Powell gifted one last second sports membership. Okay, guy.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, dog. Alex Maya poured a stronger drink after seeing CMC being spammed after B Rob's nice drive. Yeah, I saw it. It was like there was a clear, like, anxious reaction to B Rob taking over the end of that drive. It was like, oh, we got to get CMC involved. And he was like running the same plays. And I'm like, bro, you just think that you could just Lego Etch-a-Sketch shit together just because, oh, we got some positivity with this switch lead. Let's go ahead and get CMC on there. I'm like, bro, like, God, you always trying to be like me, bro. Stop, bro. SoCal 1918. Personally, I think it's a mistake they bring Purdy back. Purdy wasn't good when the offense didn't have the better players compared to what Mac has done. Purdy has like 15 plus interceptions in the last 20 games. Hey, man, it is what it is, bro. Do you have anything to say to this?
We are a little less than a month away from the 1 year mark since Brock Purdy's played a good, clean game. December 8th, 2024 against the lonely Chicago Bears. That terrible team, that terrible franchise that had just fired their coach. That is the last time Brock Purdy's played a clean game. We're almost at that year mark. That's kind of crazy to think about.
It's nuts. It's nuts. And then also, we already know this one. Michael Allen says Kyle's scared of getting fired. And hey, listen, what does Kyle say that the number one thing that his father taught him, passed down through being a coach, is
how to keep your job.
How to keep your job. So we already know that. So let's get over here to Sleeper
time.
Let's
All right, listen, I did us the liberty because the Monday Night Football game starts while we're always on air. So I made the picks these are the picks that I made. But before we get there, I just want to say you can get a 100% deposit match of up to $100 using promo code LSS. If you are on the fence about using Sleeper, use promo code LSS and you will get a free $20 play. You don't even have to make a deposit. So the picks for tonight's game, and we'll see how these are going. Jordan Love just needs one passing yard. We should be good there. Jalen Hurts, I teased him down to 150 plus passing yards. I didn't trust the 210 on that one, that's for sure. I've got Jake Elliott making more than 1.5 field goals, and then Micah Parsons racking up a sack. Hurts runs around a lot. I figure he'll fall into the arms of Parsons at some point during this game. So those are the picks tonight. $10 to win, $45.50. You can tail, you can fade, but either way, use promo code LSS. Link is pinned to the top of the description. All right, Coach, let's get to the next topic.
My dog. All right, so let's go with, I mean, has the defense hit a wall? This is a real show. We're not afraid to admit when we may have had a shitty topic. Is this a shitty topic?
It might be a shitty topic, but I was going to switch it because it was shitty. I was going to save you, but you just peeled back the curtain. So I guess
let's go. No, that's what I said. This show is all about transparency. We're not just going to forge along with a boring topic and make you guys listen to us. If this is a shitty topic, sometimes you got to course correct. This is a shitty topic and we're changing it. Go.
Okay, you wanted to talk about Robert Saleh and the Giants thing, and we can parlay this into that topic. So let's start and springboard using this topic, which is how much blame does Robert Saleh deserve for the way this defense is performing? We know that they're injured. We understand that. But Robert Saleh is supposed to be this czar, this amazing coach. Oh, my gosh, we're going to lose him this offseason, every single step of the way. How much blame does he deserve, if any? Maybe he doesn't deserve any. Maybe it's just, hey, this team's not good. They got a lot of injuries. There's nothing you can do about it. I think there's some to go around, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
We already were playing with holes on the defense as a full healthy defense from the beginning of the year. uh some things that you have to look at is not necessarily what has gone bad, but what has performed at a level that you have to be honest, you did not see coming. I did not see the performance of the rookies, particularly Alfred Collins, and in some instances, Michael Williams, to be as consistent at a high level that they played at this year. I didn't expect that. You have to give Robert Saleh that type of credit. Robert Saleh creating a pass rush by committee, right? Rather than doing it traditionally. You have to give him credit for that. Now, there are some blunders, particularly we can go to what is this, the Tampa game, where Robert Saleh not only played like this off coverage, which was completely different than what we had did all season, but he started Jair Brown and benched Marquis Siegel at the time, when a good combination at the time was Marquis Siegel and Malik Mustafa and Pinnock.
Or no, yeah. Pinnock,
yeah.
I think at the time, yeah.
Yeah, at the time, Pinnock had gotten benched because Malik was on the field. And it, you know, to his credit, he admitted it and said, I don't know what I was doing with calling that defense for that game. And they course corrected later on in the season. But there have been some blunders where, you know, when you're consistent, when the calibrations on your tool or your machine are changing from week to week, you know, sometimes you get a mulligan in my eyes where it's like, bro, I don't know how to use this thing. I'm just learning. Like, you know, we have a different pass rush, you know, Bryce Huff going in and out of the lineup, losing Kalia Davis at times, Nick Bosa going down, Fred Warner going down, you know, Renardo Green finally, you know, Renardo Green didn't have a camp. Right. And at one point, we were trying to figure out not what we were going to do at nickel, but what we were going to do at the other boundary corner, because we didn't know exactly what we were going to do. Then Darrell Luter Jr. filled in for us and did a good job until Renardo Green came in. All of those things for me, I feel like you can't really bag on Coach Saleh. And then, quite frankly, if you really want to keep it a buck, all of that time that we were saying that Kyle Shanahan was kind of like coach of the year candidate, low key, it was Robert Saleh right there, neck and neck, with the same type of performances that we saw in defense, that we saw from offense via Mac Jones, and our lack of a running game at time. There was a very distinct part of the season in the beginning where we weren't running the ball well at all. You know, we didn't score our first touchdown until like week 6, maybe week 4, around there. So I can't. Robert Saleh has been class personified. And then if you really look at his job in contrast to Nick Sorensen, I mean, my God, like, how can you complain about anything? So that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's a couple things that I want to look at. Of course, he's better than Sorensen. Sorensen was way out in front of his skis, but it did take this team, even when healthy, quite a while to force a turnover, like an intercept, to get an interception. It did take a while. And this team should have had a few interceptions at the very least. Fred Warner was out there doing his best Peanut Tillman impression and forcing the ball out every single game, it seemed like. But outside of that, they weren't forcing turnovers. So that's one thing I look at. In this game in particular, we can say what we want about Demo, but he is supposed to be the best corner. And if that is the case, why is it on every big third down, every big like goal to go situation, he is not on either Devontae Adams or Puka Nacua? That boggles my mind. How do you end up with multiple either timeouts called or 12 men on the field penalties? You end up with a safety lined up against Devontae Adams. You have a huge third down where Demo's not on Puka or Devontae Adams. They get it easy on a quick slant from Puka Nacua. Like, I just felt like there was just too much. And it could be as simple as, hey, Saleh put them in a position and called the right thing, but the defense is young and confused and they just couldn't figure it out. That is possible. All right. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but it seemed to happen a lot yesterday. And maybe that's as simple as Matthew Stafford just being an amazing veteran, Hall of Fame caliber type quarterback that can pick you apart and it doesn't matter what you're doing. He's going to find a way to find mismatches. I don't know. There goes coach. It could be that simple, but to me, I feel like Robert Saleh definitely deserves a little bit of blame when it comes to how everything played out yesterday. Robert Saleh, to me, that game against the Falcons, that game plan against the Falcons was so clutch. What he's done since, playing this off coverage, allowing quarterbacks like a CJ Stroud and a Matthew Stafford to just go crazy, even a Baker Mayfield, just letting those guys cook any way they want with hardly any pressure, no exotic looks. It's too easy for quarterbacks that know what they're doing. So I guess that parlays into the final topic here, which is the Brian Daboll being fired from the Giants coach. Is that a fit for Robert Saleh? We're always going to ask this question. As soon as we know that coaches aren't coming back, where does Robert Saleh fit, if anywhere? And are we going to lose Robert Saleh? Because we do think he's an important piece to the future of this team, and it would be nice to have him for at least one more year. Dayball's gone. What are they going to do at coach? What do you think? Do you think that Robert Saleh is a good fit there? Just not, is he going to get the job, but is it a good fit for Robert Saleh with the Giants, in your opinion? Why or why not?
I don't want to be whack and say yes or no, especially when we had our don't poo-poo session earlier in the show. I don't think he's a good fit, and I think it's due to proximity. He was already there. So to be honest with you, the landscape already knows him. It will be hard to kind of come out with your own edict. Now, I'm not even here to say that Robert Saleh hasn't grown and gotten a new message and he's got a rebirth as a coach, because that's what happens, right? When you go to different when you go from team to teams, that's what's supposed to happen. Really, you're not supposed to just take your stuff on the road like a snake oil salesman and just push to the next town over. You're supposed to reinvent yourself, try to figure out where you went wrong, and get better and come out with a new ethos and a new philosophy. So having a redundant message is something that I don't think would be a problem for Robert Saleh, but it would just be hard to have people listen to that different message. Now, he would get a good defense with the Giants, and having Thibodeau, Burns, Lawrence, Abdul Carter, and those guys up front, and also having a young quarterback in Jackson Dart. But the biggest thing right now is that I feel like defensive coaches get used to get franchises off the ground. And then once they get, up and running, they kind of discard them and then bring in an offensive coach who knows how to streamline and push the team to its next level. And I believe that that's exactly what would happen if Robert Saleh went to the Giants, because the Giants they're really hard up on the offense. They love what they got in Scatterboo and Jackson Dart. And I just don't think that I've seen anything from Robert Saleh on the offensive side of the game where he can really assert himself. And honestly, I really feel like that's a plight for a lot of defensive coaches in the league. Like Dan Quinn, for example, look at where, offensively, he's kind of sleep at the wheel as JD5 is out running a play when they're getting blown out. The kid had to work through and fight through injury just to get back that week to play. And he's not understanding that, hey, you may want to speed up tempo and get this kid off the field. I just don't think that Robert Saleh I don't think he would put himself in that position, to be honest with you, because he knows that. I think that you have to get to a franchise that necessarily, kind of like has that type of buy-in around a defensive-minded coach like a Pittsburgh, like a Bills. But the Giants, they need an offensive-minded coach. The last guy that really did it for them was defensively was Coughlin. Yeah.
I agree. I don't think it's a good fit for the Giants. I don't think it's a good fit for Saleh. But truth be told, this is why I don't think Robert Saleh is going to get hired during this cycle. There's one defensive coordinator in the league that is like the hot-ish this offseason. And if anybody's going to get hired to be a head coach, it's going to be a young stud defensive coordinator. And that man is residing in LA for the Chargers. And that's Jesse Minter. Jesse
Okay.
Minter, if any defensive guy is going to get a job this cycle, it's going to be him.
Okay.
He is a wizard. He's like McDonald is for the Seahawks. He's basically the same thing. He's like the next incoming
He's
thing.
bright.
Yeah, he's bright, he's young, he's coached under, the Harbaughs. He knows what he's doing. He's done it at the college level, he's done it at the pro level. He's going to be the next it thing on defense. And I feel like every cycle there's like one defensive guy that's going to get a real shot at things. And this cycle, I think that's Jesse Minter. Now, he may be one of those guys that says, hey, I'm going to be really picky, or maybe I'm not ready to be a head coach. That happens too. And then maybe you could enter Robert Saleh into it. But I don't think Robert Saleh is going to get hired this cycle. And I definitely agree with you. Jackson Dart needs an offensive guy. And if they bring in a defensive head coach, then they better have a really, really, really good game plan as to how they are going to get Jackson Dart off the ground and get the best out of him. That means you better have an amazing offensive coordinator and a plan to get the best out of him. So I don't think a defensive guy makes sense for the Giants either.
Yeah, I agree, man. Also I want to kind of float
Although,
this.
golly, man, you get like a mentor over there with that defensive line.
I mean, look, man, look. This this is something that I wanted to put into as well. You know, is there a world where Kyle and Salah are just a match? They coach really well together. Am I tripping? They're kind of made for each other, honestly, with what Robert Saleh does defensively, his temperament, his bedside manner. He's more prone to be more positive. Also, I believe that this is kind of like their best coaching job together, especially that Kyle is more mature. Have you noticed that Kyle has been a lot more affable, a lot more prone to talk through things and explain and be a little bit more self-deprecating about what's going on with the team? In years past, it's been a joy, honestly, to watch the both of them work together. What if we do get kind of like a Spagnolo, Andy Reid type deal thing where maybe Saleh kind of feels like, hey, man, this is where I want to be. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you get passed up enough, then it definitely is a possibility. I would love that. I would personally love that because I do think Saleh's a good coach, and I think Kyle's a good coach, but they definitely have their weaknesses, and it seems like each other's weaknesses are covered up by the other one's strengths. To your point,
Yeah.
where it's like if this was like a personality match, you got the introvert and Kyle Shanahan, and you got the extrovert,
Right.
and Robert Saleh, and it's a perfect marriage because
It
of
just
it.
fit.
So it does. No, it definitely does fit. Also, the fact that Kyle, maybe to your point, it's not as big as what it used to be, but he certainly has an ego. Robert Saleh seems to have none of the.
He doesn't care. He doesn't want it.
He doesn't care. He just whoever gets credit.
Again,
I just
it's
want to help the
perfect.
guys. It is a perfect marriage. And yes, those two being paired together makes a ton of sense. If you can keep it together for a while, by all means, I'm here for it for sure.
Yeah. Hey, look. Hey, let's get these last couple of super chats out of the way, and then we can get up out of here. Here we go. Bill Kennedy, Saleh doing a great job with what he has. Future head coach. I understand. I mean, I selfishly just want to keep him. I really would love a Spagnolo Reed thing to happen between the two of them. Honestly, I think that right now they don't have nearly as much talent as they've had together. We've seen them at their best, and they're kind of at their worst a little bit with talent wise, and they're doing as best as any coaching duo could do with these guys. So I hope they stay together. Honestly, Eric Dowling 199. When will it be time to move on? When will it time to move on from Kyle? I think Kyle's not going anywhere, honestly. I think he's here for a long time, to be real with you. Bill Kennedy, looking forward to 3 deep members only. I got you. It's going to be cool, bro. Hugo de Jesus, a world where Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh switch positions. I don't know, man. I don't know. That would be a hard sell. I honestly, I don't think that the organization would do that to Kyle. honestly. And to be real with you, now that I think about it, I don't think I would be. I don't think I would take the job if I was Robert Saleh. I wouldn't want to be with the organization that would do that to Kyle if I was Robert. To be real with you,
I don't think that would ever work. I think if Robert Saleh had the perfect offensive coordinator, it would be Mike McDaniel. That would be the perfect. McDaniel would be the guy for him.
Okay. I think that would work, honestly. And I think they would fit together too, as far as like Mike giving him Robert giving him some legs. I feel bad for Mike McDaniel sometimes. Like I don't feel like he gets taken seriously.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Robert would be kind of like his big brother, like, hey, you know that social media post was like, hey, this is my husband. Be nice. He's about to show you his dorky shit. Be cool.
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
Robert like, hey, this is my OC. He's about to come in here and tell you why we're going to beat the Cardinals. Be nice. Go ahead, Mike. Say what you got to say. Well, today...
Is he standing there with his arms crossed, like watching over everybody, making sure they're nice to Mike? Yeah.
Exactly.
And then Mike could be up there, he's such a terrible speaker.
Yeah, today, and Robert's like scanning the room. And now ask questions. Ask questions. Hey, man, what do you got for the rest of the week, bro?
I've got a show with Sunil tomorrow. I've got Behind Enemy Lines on Thursday with Mike with the Cardinals, and a bunch of stuff on Roundtable Sports, man. What about you?
Awesome. I got Neutral Zone tomorrow with Chunder Boy. We're going to get Faithful Review going with me and Tom. Also, we got 3 Deep starting on our members only. That's going to be a dope show. We got to start talking about 3 Deep. It's going to be me, you, and Grant. That's our transition from 4-man front. Our boy Ryan went on to a coaching career with coaching with his boys, which is going to be dope. And then also just kind of getting ready for this game against the Cardinals. I'm excited for this one too. And it's going to be Sunday night too, isn't it?
I don't know what time it is, honestly. I haven't even looked at
I don't think it's a Sunday night.
I don't think it's Sunday night. That'd be a really bad Sunday night football game.
Oh, okay.
No, 4:05.
4:05.
It's all right. Hey, we're on Monday Night Football the next week, and thank goodness YouTube TV and Disney are at odds, because real good time that you have. I have ESPN Plus. I've got Disney. I've got YouTube TV. I've got NFL Sunday Ticket, and I can't watch the Monday Night Football game. Tell me how that's possible.
Because it's possible? America. It's America, bro.
Hey, man.
This is the coach signing off with my boy Jesse. Stay low and keep your feet moving. Peace.